Here are the quick points of the Ashes of Creation August 27th developer update. Starting with the studio update from Steven, 70% of Intrepid staff is now in the new studio and working. They've also made 6 or 7 new hires in the past month, which is great. Moving on to design, we've got our first look at the Terror Bird in-game as a mount, which has a particularly smooth running animation. We also got a look at the Thundering Bolt Beast gliding/flying mount. Steven also let us know gliding type mounts like this will be able to be leveled up, allowing them to glide further and further, which is a reiteration that mounts in Ashes of Creation will have their own progression and be able to be leveled up, increasing their base stats as well as unlocking more mount abilities to use. We also got to see a new version of the animation for the cleric ability Radiant Burst, which in my opinion, being someone who mained a cleric during Alpha 1, looks quite good and an improvement for sure. We also got an insightful clarification into Intrepid's outlook on community feedback.
And when we have discussions as the design team on how we want to move forward with either changes, adaptations to particular things, we are referencing community sentiment. How does that sentiment stay in line with what our core philosophies are, right? Our core pillars. Now, you know, a lot of people have said we got to be careful. You can't listen to obviously everything that the community says because there's differing opinions out there. And I think that that's not lost on us. Like, you know, we're not looking to fundamentally change the identity of Ashes of Creation through community feedback. I think we've kind of laid out what those pillars are. You know, we have gotten buy-on from the community with regards to, does that resonate with you guys? And then now we look to increase essentially the positive reception on these core pillars without changing fundamentally the idea or the design of the game, so to speak.
It's like this is what we're creating and the product that we're creating. But if we can resolve some of these problems and these issues that you all are worried about or encountering with the design that we have and still keeping to what we're trying to achieve, I think that's totally, you know, obviously we would want 100% to do that.
So yeah, feedback is extremely important, but Intrepid also has to have a somewhat rigid base structure vision to build their fundamental game systems onto. For example, some people don't want to be forced into world PvP and would rather the ability to toggle it on and off like many other MMOs have. I'm not saying this is a bad opinion to have, but the corruption system combined with the fact players drop a percentage of their gathered resources upon death, and the risk versus reward that will create within the world of Ashes is a core feature Intrepid have likely already put an extremely large amount of time and resources into and is likely not to be changed. I for one am a huge fan of the idea of the corruption system, but we have yet to see it really implemented as we only had a couple days where PvP was turned on in Alpha 1. It will definitely take many iterations and balancing to get right, but it's going to make the world feel alive and dangerous, not just like a theme park ride from A to B. Next, we got a sneak peek into some of the details of the plans for Alpha 2.
Can we talk a little bit about what the users can expect in Alpha 2? I know you won't be able to go through everything because it's a lot, but yeah, the highlights maybe.
Yeah, honestly, Alpha 2 is really taking Alpha 1 and fleshing out all of those systems much, much further, right? So one of the main things is going to be obviously node progression outside of just stage 3, perhaps up to city, if not metropolis stage for Alpha 2. Another component is going to be drastically increasing the world size, and that incorporates obviously a significant amount of other work such as all the quest lines, the level of progression, you know, incorporating secondary archetype choices, having augment capabilities as part of the combat system and the skill trees, incorporating the weapon skill trees as part of that, having a vast array of diverse creatures to select from, having some more of the spawner influence and changes that get adjusted in the world based on node progression, incorporating more of the parent vassal system and how nodes interact with each other, expanding out the guild skill trees, really doing a significant revamp on gathering and the way that we're actually going to start demonstrating the real gathering systems, the itemization and crafting components, just general artisanship tree. You know, those are big portions of what needs to be done.
We see here some beautiful concept art of a lava zone that will surround the volcano or volcanoes on the map in the future. I really like the look of the dark, ashy, dreary skies contrasting with the brightly glowing lava. This is a zone I'm incredibly keen to see once it's in-game. Now we've got some in-game models, Empyrean-style fencing and a doorway, weapon racks, a fountain, some wooden signs, a Dunir-style barrier blockade thing. Moving on to character art, we have a majestic floofy boy in-game achievable mount via the animal husbandry system, where you will be able to breed different animals together on your freehold to create unique mounts and pets like this one. Another mount model from one of the pre-order bundles, a chameleon with crystals growing out of its back.
If you were riding that thing without a saddle, like
Oh,
that,
it would hurt.
oh, that crystal wasn't meant to be there. You know what I mean? Like, that would be unfortunate.
Don't bear back the carmine chameleon.
Okay, comfortability of riding the mount aside, wouldn't it be cool if this or a similar themed in-game achievable mount could, at its max level, poop out the same crystals growing on it, or they would grow to a certain level and then you could pick them off its back? Just a small amount of a fairly high-tier gatherable mineral once per day or whatever would be a cool and unique reward for leveling your mount that makes a bit of passive income slash crafting material. Next, some more 3D models, lion-themed shin guard armor, a potion bottle with a snake wrapped around it, and a ring from a pre-order set, as well as some more 3D models for player costumes from previous pre-order bundles, a Spartan-esque set, and an absolutely stunning set called Threads of Fate. I, just as much as some of you, turn my nose up at the idea of a cash shop. Even a cosmetic-only shop with no XP boosts, no extra bag space, or pay-to-win of any kind like Intrepid have stated theirs will be many times. Even then, I don't like the idea that I might put tens or hundreds of hours into getting that badass armor or weapon so I can stand in the middle of town and show everybody else how little I have going on in my life except for this game, and then someone can just spend 50 bucks and look as cool or cooler than me. But the reason I don't have nearly as much of a problem with it in Intrepid's case is that their model is whatever cosmetics people pay for in the pre-order bundles and the cash shop after launch. All of those models are then used as in-game assets for NPCs in the world. Basically, cosmetics directly fund and precipitate development and design of the game. So this beautiful Threads of Fate set will be worn by cultist or religious zealot NPCs in a dungeon or somewhere in the world. Next, we have what appears to be several different tiers of the same style of in-game achievable Dunir armor. Looks awesome. Again, I absolutely love to see more in-game achievables that impress me. Intrepid's design team is yet again showing their phenomenal skills when it comes to intricacy and detail. Can't wait to see our dwarven friends running around wearing this stuff, hopefully in Alpha 2. Moving on to the question and answer section, we've got an update on Intrepid's plans for rooted versus unrooted combat now that both have been tested and seen by the public during Alpha 1, as well as an update on the current dual system of tab and action combat.
Cronus wants to know about split body versus root motion. Based on recent feedback, what direction are you leaning towards in regards to split body versus root motion combat?
I think we're leaning towards split body. Well, I don't think. We are leaning towards split body. I do think. I think very often and a lot, sometimes too much.
Are you still considering whether the combined action slash tab targeting combat will be replaced by either tab only or action only?
No, I think that we will find a healthy medium between the two. I think that really what it comes down to is the definition of action, and I think that there is a varying degree of opinions on what action targeting means, so to speak. But as I've clearly defined in the past, and as you can research on Wiki, our opinion on, at least my opinion on action combat, is, I think, well represented in the way we want to hybridize that combat in Ashes of Creation. And I think that there is going to be a good balance between those two, and it should be a seamless transition between the two as well. You know, we're going to be fleshing that out further as we move forward.
Next, it looks like Intrepid have listened to the community feedback on Dunir and are planning on beefing them up to be closer to the beautiful thick boy classic dwarves we are familiar with from most fantasy universes.
Will the Dunir be seeing an update on their appearance? Yes. You all have sent us a lot of feedback. We are going to be showcasing a lot of those changes next month probably. I've been working with production to try to make sure that that kind of gets pushed a little bit forward so that we can at least show you guys some work in progress changes next month on our development update. So stay tuned. We heard you. A lot of us love dwarves. We agree. So you'll be seeing some changes coming along.
And I've been working with Ryan Richmond, who's our lead concept artist, on some of those changes that we'll be making to the Dunir dwarves to make them more traditional fantasy stout-looking dwarves, right?
Thick boys.
Next, we have a snippet of Vec information.
Will the more goblin-esque Vec be as short as dwarves or just slightly shorter than their Renkai brethren?
No, I believe they are slightly shorter than the Veyloon, but slightly taller than the Dunir.
I was actually unaware of this. I thought Vec were going to be more tall and gangly, more along the lines of WoW trolls, with more orcish features and humanoid build. I don't know, I might have to rethink my choice to play as a Vec. I tend towards making the biggest, tallest character I can due to my deep-seated insecurities about size in real life. It's not that bad. Vec are astrologers, after all. Maybe I'll have to settle for an elegant elf or a furry, Tolnar. Next, we have a question on stat allocation with a really interesting answer.
Are our stat points, strength, dex, int, granted statistically as we level based on our class, or can we reallocate them as we wish, kind of like adjust them?
So as of right now, definitively, there is going to be a tattooed system which will allow certain slots for you to apply stat migration, but it's a give and take relationship. There will be higher quality magical tattoos that can be applied to the character in order to adjust stats, but for
Like a
the most
magical
part,
enchantment.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Tattoo system.
This is the first I've heard of this system that I can remember, and whew, allocating stat points directly affecting the appearance of your character via magical tattoos. Now that touches my want for immersion in just the right way. And another really interesting answer about the systems that will motivate players to participate in Caravan Pvp.
This one is in regards to caravans. Based on risk versus reward and PvP flagging not applying to caravans, what does a player risk when they attack a caravan versus defending their caravan?
There's going to be an associated quest system that determines when you're participating in a assault or a defense of a caravan, that it's going to track your record of successful defenses or successful attacks. And if you have failed attacks, so you've opted in to participate, and you have a failed attack, essentially you did not achieve your objective, that's going to count against your record in the quest system. So these are progressive quest systems where you are achieving something as either a highway robber or a defender of caravans, and your successes in each of those categories is going to determine the types of rewards that you're going to scale up over time based on that record.
That's about it for what I thought were the important points to share with you for this month's dev update. I kinda can't believe the support I've got in the past few videos, so thank you very much for that, and bye.